Okay, today chorale number 7, which is called
Nun lob, mein Seel, den Herren.
Okay, tune first. First phrase. Now harmonization. Yeah, I think that's right. So what do we have? Got 1, 6. That is C sharp minor 3. Now 6, 3. Just a plain 3. Going to 4. This is a passing note, passing 7. Chord 5 with the 7th in the bass. The bass stays there, so that D note by holding becomes the 7th of E. So that's chord 5 in third inversion, 5, 7, third inversion. Okay, now that 7th in the bass behaves exactly like you'd expect it to behave. It drops. It becomes the 3rd of chord 1. Here I have chord 1 in first inversion with the 3rd in the bass, with the C sharp in the bass. So that 7 drops as expected. This is chord 2. All right, yeah. This is chord 2. 7. Let's make it bigger. Yeah, that's a B minor 7 in first inversion. The 3rd is in the bass, first inversion. That 7th is prepared by being held right there. And then it behaves like a 7th. It behaves as expected by dropping a semitone to become the 3rd of the next chord. So, pretty much textbook so far. That's just chord 5, and that's chord 1. Open, by the way. The 3rd is in the lead, which gives it a not so final type of sound. In fact, we're at the beginning of it. That is the first phrase. Tonic region. We're all so far in the tonic region. The tonic region is being confirmed. Second phrase. Harmonization. I'll have to go slow. Chord 1 again at the beginning of the phrase, passing note right there. Okay, that's a C sharp major. That's a C sharp major, so that is a chord 3, chromatic. This 7th is just an auxiliary note. It's a lower auxiliary. And the chord is still 3 chromatic. It's 3 chromatic for the whole bar. Now what happens? Look what happens there. The alto drops, becomes the 3rd. The 3rd in the bass here drops, becomes the root of the chord. So what I have here, I have 3 chromatic first inversion. 3 chromatic first inversion. The root of the chord drops to become the 7th. So that becomes just 3 chromatic 7. 3 chromatic 7. 7th, which is also a passing note. The 7 behaves as expected. Again, it drops to become the 3rd of the next chord. This 3 chromatic function as 5 of 6. Does it behave as a 5 of 6? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Next chord is 6. F sharp minor, 6. Leading note goes up. The leading note of that chord, of the C sharp, goes up. Everything is nice and dandy. Passing 7 in the bass. Passing 7 in the bass. So chord 6, chord, I could analyze it as chord 6, 7, D. Okay? If I wanted to analyze this beat, well, I won't. That's 7, passing 7. We all know what's happening there. Oh, now, that's something cute. I have an E chord, I have an E dominant chord. This is chord 5 with the 7th in the bass, which is approached just directly by step. See, that's that movement of a step. So what happens right there is that I have 2 consecutive 3rd inversion chords. You see, I have 6D, 6 in 3rd inversion there with the 7th in the bass, and that 7th in the bass is also here in the dominant chord. It's just approached directly. So, and you see now that descending line has gathered momentum and it's behaving as expected. Again, that 7th in the bass behaves as you expect it to behave. It goes to become the 3rd of the next chord, chord 1 in 1st inversion there. Followed by, this is chord 2 with the 7th, the A in the alto is held underneath. That is the 7th, prepared and held. That's the 7th. So chord 2, 7th in 1st inversion. That's the 3rd in the bass. Chord 5 and chord 1. This time with the root, with the tonic note in the lead, in the soprano, which gives it a more final type of sound. In fact, yeah, that's nice to notice now. That's nice to notice. First phrase, C sharp in the lead. Da, da, da. It's chord 1, but it's still open. It's still not as final sounding as da, da, da. The second phrase. That second phrase has the root of chord 1, the tonic. In the soprano, sounds more final. Da. That leading note drops to the 5th. That leading note in the alto drops to the 5th, rather than climbing to the tonic. Otherwise, I would have a chord without the 5th, which is okay, but he seemed to like full sounding chords, complete chords at cadences. That leading note, inactive leading note, call it what you want. It just doesn't behave as expected. It's in the middle of the texture. It's not prominent. And that in the chorales happens very often. And we are still in the tonic region. Still in the tonic region. Tune. Going to the relative minor, going to F sharp minor. Let's see the harmonization. Chord 1, chord 4. Now bass and tenor get held, so that becomes chord 7 in second inversion. Chord 7 functioning as 5, 7, and it goes to 1. Now that's interesting in the sense that this part of the chord behaves like a second inversion chord, which is left by step. You see that note is, that second inversion is quick by step, but you see that that note actually jumps. That is 7 of 6. So I'll just put the function here, 7 of 6 in parentheses, just the function there. 7 diminished, that's another diminished chord functioning as a rootless dominant. How does it behave? Oh sure, now that's nice. The leading note goes up, that goes down. Does it go to 6? Yes, it goes to 6, because that's just 6. That's 6. So what's that doing? What's that doing there? You see, let me see. That's interesting. So what's that B doing? That's the dissonance. That's the moment of dissonance. That's 7 of 6. 7 of 6. That's 6. That is 6. I have that. I have that. I have that. It's not 2. It's not 2 because of this. And then it goes again to that and 6. Okay, so now this is chord 6. That is chord 6. That is chord 6 in root position. In root position. It's something interesting anyway. The B is being held above. The E is the B note in the soprano is being held. The B note is being held above, so it creates a moment of dissonance here. Now what's that in relation to the chord? That'd be the fourth. That'd be the fourth or the 11th. I would have a tendency to call it 11th, considering that the third is there, and you know, usually if the fourth is there, it takes the place of the third. But anyway, that's blah blah blah. What we have there is a moment of dissonance because of that B. That's because of that B in the soprano. So what I have is 7 of 6, 6 with that dissonance, that dissonance in the soprano, and this is just a plain 3 chromatic in first inversion, functioning as again 5 of 6. That 3 chromatic works as expected and goes to 6 right here. Now notice how that dissonance, which was here, practically resolves here. You see? That's the B dissonant, which has been held against the chord 6, F sharp minor, and it resolves there on the F sharp minor chord. Okay, next that's chord 7. That's chord 7. This is a G sharp diminished. Chord 7. Chord 7, which function as 2 of 6. This is 3 chromatic. This is 3 chromatic, which functions as 5 of 6, and this is 6. So you have a 2, 5 of 6, and this phrase finishes on the relative minor, on F sharp minor. So we're still in the tonic region. We're still in the tonic region. This is the relative minor of the tonic region. So we're definitely still in the tonic region. Okay, still me from the future with a couple of small additions, a couple of small fixes. In the second phrase, this is really a small one. The second phrase, right here, this chord 5, 7 D, if you want to show the third inversion, to show the 7th in the bass, which is obvious, but you know, I put the D in the previous chord, let's put the D in this chord as well. And also in the following phrase, this chord here, this chord right here, it is 2 of 6, but it is 2, 7 in first inversion of 6, because I have the third in the bass, that's the B, I have G sharp, B, D, and then the F sharp here, that's the 7th. That's the 7 which has been held from the previous beat, and then behaves as a 7th by dropping a half a tone in the next to become the third of the next chord. So the full chord symbol there is 2, 7, B, first inversion of 6. Okay, next phrase. I'm gonna have to do a bit of scrolling with my right hand. So next phrase starts with a B. Okay, so this phrase goes to the dominant. Now harmonization. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna remember that chord. I'm gonna play from here. Okay, so something interesting happens as soon as I play this chord. As soon as I play that, something interesting happens. So this is a B7 in first inversion. So it's chord 2 chromatic 7 in first inversion. What happens as soon as I play it? That's at the beginning of the new phrase. As soon as I play the chord, this F sharp minor, which I have just played and held a little bit because it's at the end of the previous phrase, that F sharp minor sounds retrospectively as 2 of 5. Because that B7th is 5 of 5. It's 5 of 5. And it all goes to 5 then. It all goes to 5 here. I say retrospectively because it only happens the moment you play the B, at least to my ear. So I come to the end of the previous phrase, landing on 6, on the relative minor, on F sharp minor. Sounds like this. So that F sharp minor, which is perceived as the landing point, now it also sounds retrospectively as 2 of 5 as I start moving along into the next progression. To my ear, at least, it could be heard also as that, not just as a landing point of the previous progression, but also as the flicking starting point of the next progression. Okay, that's just a couple of passing notes. They do create just momentarily a nice, interesting sound. So on that second beat. Okay. And me from the future again. Now that particular chord here, it could be thought of as chord 1 without a third, without the C sharp. You see, I have the ta-da on top and I have the ta-da in the tenor. So the soprano goes ta, the soprano goes, okay, and the tenor goes ta-da. There's no C sharp, there's no third. But, you know, at a stretch, it could be chord 1 without the third. Just 2 passing notes in contrary motion. Okay, still chord 5 there, but with that 7th in the bass, passing 7th, which behaves as expected, because this is chord 1 in first inversion. Chord 1. Now, this is chord 6, 7. Chord 1. Now, that's chord 6, 7, because that E is held. That's the 7th of F sharp minor, which behaves as expected. It goes to that note, which is the 3rd of B7. So this is 2 chromatic with a passing 7 there. And this is 5 again. So yeah. Now all of that phrase is in the dominant region. I could analyze all that in E. If I start from here, and I think of the dominant region, that is 5, 7 in first inversion. Yeah, this is then 1. I'm thinking in E. This is then 1. That would be 1 with a flat 7. 5 of 4. 5 of 4 of E. A. In fact, it goes to A. You see, this would be 4 of E. This would be 2, 7. This is 5 of 5, and that's 1 of 5. So all of that is can be analyzed in the dominant region in the key of E. Okay, so here is the analysis, and here is the function. The function in the dominant region. Tune. Now, harmonization. See how that harmonization really swayed elsewhere. A melody that would otherwise just suggest going back to the tonic. You know, listen to the melody on its own. It's perfectly diatonic to A major, you know. The melody on its own would suggest just A major. And instead, when it gets harmonized, it goes right there to the subdominant. So let me play the harmonization again. Right there. Managed to sway it to the subdominant in the last couple of notes, the last few notes. So, okay, this is 3, 6, 3, 6. That's just a lower auxiliary. It's the 7th of the chord in the bass, but just as a lower auxiliary. 3, 6. This is 4. 4 in first inversion. Let me just write that a little better. 4 in first inversion. 5. 5. What do I get there? I get a B, another B, an F sharp. No chord as such. I have just 2 intervals of a fourth. I have that in the moment. Which, oh, look. That's the same sound that happens here. I have kind of the same sound. Almost the same voice leading. Almost the same movement of the voices. Here, I have... And here, I've got right, but it's no chord at all. Okay, so I have 5. That's a whole bar of 5. So those are just 2 passing notes. Those are just 2 passing notes which give me a nice moment of dissonance. That's chord 5 in first inversion. That's chord 5 in root position, thanks to this movement of the voices. Goes to chord 1. Goes to chord 1. It's not quite finished yet. Now I have 1 with the flat 7. 1 with the flat 7, functioning as 5 of 4. 5 of 4. And in fact, it goes to 4. It goes to 4. So, what does this phrase do? This phrase starts steering towards the subdominant. It's mostly in the tonic, but it steers towards the subdominant here. So I'll write subdominant, but I'll write it there at the cadence. Next phrase, tune. Got this good beat happening. So this is chord 1, first inversion, and this is chord 2. However, we're in the subdominant here. So I think chord 1 could be seen as 5 of 4. 5 of 4, 5 in first inversion of 4, passing thanks to that bass, which goes from the D at the cadence, and that 2 is 6 of 4, the relative minor of 4. That's what you have right there. If you think about it, you're coming from the D major. Then you have the D at the cadence, passing C sharp, which is chord 1, and that's the B minor, which is 6 of 4, chord 2, functioning as 6 of the subdominant of chord 4. Now there is a little bit of crossing parts here. The soprano is lower than the alto there. I just thought I'd point that out. What do we get? Still chord 2, passing 7 in the bass. We're still in the subdominant region. I mean, this is a G major. This is a G major, okay, which is 4 of 4. 4 of 4. Couple of passing notes. That's a passing note. That's a passing 7 of the G major chord. So we're still in the subdominant region. We're still in the subdominant region. Now what's happening here? I have a C sharp diminished. Okay, C sharp diminished is 2 of B minor. B minor is the relative minor of 4. So this is 2 of 2. This is 2 of 2. Oh, look what happens here. I have, okay, that's F sharp, A sharp, C sharp, and E. So that is is an F sharp 7 chord. That's 5 of 2. 2, so on this quiver, 2, chord 2 of B minor. On this quiver, chord 5 of B minor. So this is 2, 5 of 2. 2, 5 of 2. So this is a 2, 5 of 2. I have then again chord a G here, a G major chord. Now the G major makes me think of 6 of B minor. So I have a 2, 5, 6 of 2. A deceptive cadence. A deceptive cadence in the relative minor of the subdominant of B minor. That's what's happening right there. This is pointing at B minor. This started in D major and it's pointing at its own relative minor, B minor. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. So I have 2, 5, 6 of 2 of B minor, passing note. Passing note, this is an F sharp 7 with a 4-3 appoggiatura. 5 with a 4-3 appoggiatura, which is, that's a double passing note if you want. So this becomes an accented passing note, melodically speaking. It's a 4-3 appoggiatura and of 2. And then what happens here? I have a B major. So 2. But I'm going to say sharp 3. I'm not going to say chromatic. I'm going to say sharp 3 because everything points at B minor. Everything points at B minor, but I have a B major instead. So that is going to sound like a tierce, sounds like a tierce de Picardie. So this is the end of the previous phrase. So then I have B minor. B major sounds like a tierce de Picardie. Because you'd be expecting B minor. Naturally, that's coming from the D in the previous phrase. That's what you're expecting. That's what you get. So there's no F sharp. That's what you get. So that sounds like a tierce di Picardie. I'm going to analyze that as 2 with a raised 3, with a raised third. Now, this G, that crotchet beat there, that G, I analyzed it as 4 of 4. Could be also analyzed as 6 of 2. Because we are moving onto the relative minor of the subdominant around that time. So it could also be analyzed as 6 of 2, which we definitely have afterwards then. Okay. Okay, next phrase. Tune first. Gonna have to do a bit of scrolling again. So we come from a B major, that in the melody. Okay, very straightforward. Let me do it again. Okay, harmonization. Let's see, harmonization. I'm coming from, and then we have ooh. What happens now? Okay. Analysis. Let's see. I am on a 2 with a raised third. Sounds like a tierce di Picardie. But now, as I play this is just a playing 5 that can retrospectively sound as a 2 chromatic 5 of 5. And after 5, I get 1. Bam, bam. This is like a boom. Big gravitational shift. Boom. Back towards the tonic again. Now, passing note, passing 7. Then this is a 6, chord 6. This is 2, plain and simple, B minor. And it's me from the future again. I just forgot to point out here a little bit of part crossing that happens between the bass and the tenor. Just there and there. Do you see how the bass, here is higher than what the tenor was? You see, and it does it twice. See, the bass here is higher than what the tenor was. You see, so that's part crossing twice, just a tone apart. I just thought I'd point that out. But this is now, that's chord 7 from the minor. 7 from the minor. By the way, here, this G, 7 from the minor, and also that 7 from the minor, you see, in relation to the home key. You know, I'll put it there, just, but my mind was thinking subdominant and the relative minor of the subdominant. So in relation to the home key, that G7 borrowed from the minor, and 7 from the minor, but the function is 6 of 2, or 4 of 4. Now, so this is 2, this is 7 from the minor. Is it functioning as 6 of 2? What happens after? Let's see. I have this is a C sharp minor 7 flat 5. Yeah, so it's that's 7/7 of this is 7/7 of 4. This is 7/7 of 4. This is 4. So we're still in the subdominant region. We're still gravitating towards the subdominant region. Now let me see what happens in between here. That's just a C sharp diminished triad. Let's see. I have a C sharp, E again, a G natural. See, yeah, that's simply C sharp diminished triad, 7 of 4, 7 of 4, going to 4. Does that in the middle become anything? Does that, let me see what I, these two passing notes, do they give me some incidental harmony? Let's see. No, because I have, well, it gives me chord 6, 7. It does create a chord. I'm gonna put it here. Because that's an F sharp minor 7 in second inversion. I'm gonna just put it here. 6, 7, C. It's incidentally happens because of those two passing notes. It does create a harmony, but I think it's only two passing notes. So 7/7 of 4, 7 of 4, functioning as, 5 of 4. Because does it go to 4? Yes, it does. So what is that G? What is that G before? How do I think about it? How do I think about this G? This 7 from the minor. So a G triad, then I have that, and then I have that. Okay, 4 of 4. 4 of 4. I have a G, then I have a C sharp diminished, which function as 5 of 4, and then I have 4. So that G, 4 of 4, functioning as 4 of 4. Yeah, 4 of the subdominant. 4 of the subdominant. Then I have this 7/7 of 4, which function as a rootless dominant of 4 with the 7 and the 9, because I have, and then I have just the C sharp diminished, functioning as with the function of the dominant of 4, and then 4. So yeah, that G can be thought of as 4 of 4. Harmonization. We get chord 1 here. This is 2 chromatic in first inversion with passing 7 there. 2 chromatic, which function as 5 of 5. passing 7 there. I'm gonna put just the 7 there, and this is 5, so it behaves as expected. The 7 drops, 5 goes to 1. Nice strong root movement. Okay, at that point when I was playing that, I felt just a bit of emptiness, and I think it's because at this moment we have chord 2. This E is being held, so that's a 4-3 suspension. It's a 4-3 suspension. As the 4th resolves to the 3rd right here, well, 2 chromatic with a 4-3 suspension. As the 4th resolves to the 3rd, right there I have this tenor passing to the 7th right here, passing to the 7th. So there's lots of interest there. And then 2 chromatic functioning as 5 of 5. Where does it go? It goes to 5. So I'm going to play it again because I just felt a little bit of hollow at this moment, and I was wondering what it is. And it's just, you know, the lack of a 3rd in the chord momentarily. I'll just play again. I'll try to play again. There. You see? What's sounding at the point is it's an empty 5th. It's also the sound of the piano, which, you know, doesn't sustain. The sound of the piano dies immediately. I suppose if it was a string sound or a choir, they would sustain that E in the alto in a way that it can be heard a bit more, like the 4th. But if you play with the piano, that moment sounds a bit hollow because there is the E being held. You know, it's not sounded at the same time as sound before. Next phrase, tune. Something that jumped on my mind right now. A couple of phrases ago. Here. In the alto, we have an augmented second. Call the police. We're all gonna die. An augmented second there in the alto. Anyway. Harmonization. Oh, let me play that again. 3, 6. As that nice D sharp in the alto, does it give me... Okay, this is definitely 5. It's definitely 5. Does that D sharp give me an incident, a harmony? I think it does. So I have D sharp, F sharp, D sharp, F sharp, A, and another A. That's 7 of 5. That's a D sharp diminished triad. D sharp, F sharp, A. It's a D sharp diminished triad, so it's just 7 of 5. 7 of 5. Which functions as 5/7 of 5. So all is good. Again, then here I just have a simple two chromatic functioning as 5 of 5, passing 7 right here, 2 chromatic, 5 of 5, so it wants to go to 5, it wants to go to 5, which is E, but where does it go instead? It goes to C sharp minor, which is 6 of 5. So this is a deceptive cadence, an avoided cadence, call it what you want, of the dominant. So this is 3, just a plain 3. Now that 3 is 6 of 5. 6 of 5, and that's just 2. That's just 2. It's a B minor, yeah. Okay, what's happening here? There is stuff happening here. It's going to 5 anyway. It's going to the dominant. Let me see, let me work backwards. I have a D sharp. I have a D sharp. A couple of A's and a C sharp. That is 7/7 of 5 without the F sharp. I'm going to analyze this. I'm going to analyze this as in parallel here. 7/7. Let me write that a little better, I think. Seven of 5, right there. 7/7 of 5 in parentheses because it's a function. In parentheses, and it goes to 5. Now, what comes before? What comes before? I have 2. The D goes to D sharp. 7/7 of 5 goes to 5. What happens in this crotchet beat? What happens here? Let me check. Let me check. I still have the D at the bottom. That becomes an A. I have an F. I have a C on top. I have a C on top. Okay. That's chord 4. On the second crotchet beat, I have chord, and on the first quaver, I have chord 4 with a diatonic major 7, chord 4/7. Then that F sharp in the alto becomes G sharp, is just a nice passing note. And that's 7/7 of 5. So that's chord 4/7 right here. That's it. So 2, 4, 7. Then I have 7/7 of 5, 5. That's that. So this is in the dominant region. Tune. Harmonization, nice and slow. Now, what do we have? Okay, that's a C sharp major, so that's 3 chromatic in first inversion. It would suggest functioning as 5 of 6, but does it go to 6? No, that's 4. That's a D major. That's 4 in first inversion. That's F sharp, F sharp. That D in the soprano, that's chord 4. That's a D major in first inversion. So it would like to function as 5 of 6. But instead it's a deceptive cadence. It's an avoided cadence in a minor key. Instead of going to F sharp minor, it goes to the 6 of F sharp minor, which is D major. That's a deceptive cadence in F sharp minor. So you could think of that as you could think of this D major as 6 of 6. Now, but we're going back to the tonic anyway. So this is 5/7 in first inversion. 5/7 in first inversion. Yeah, that's the 7. That's the E. That's the leading note in the bass, rising to, and that's chord 1. Oh, by the way, look here. I have a D major chord. By all means, a primary triad. And look what happens. Oh, it's double the third. We're all gonna die. I think the reason that the third is doubled there, it's because it suggested going to F sharp minor. So that's why it suggested going to F sharp minor, but it didn't. It was a deceptive cadence. Anyway, that's only myself thinking. That's 5 again with a passing 7 right here. Gonna put the 7 there. This is 6. This is 6, so that's another deceptive cadence there in the tonic. Now this time in the tonic region, in the tonic key. Lower auxiliary. What do I have here? I have just a D major chord 4. Passing note. And this at the end is just bread and butter final cadence. You have chord 1 in second inversion, chord 1 is tonic chord in second inversion, followed by the dominant chord in root position, a 6/4, 5/3. Right here you have passing 7, and as that happened, the inactive leading note in the middle of the texture in the alto, not rising to the tonic, but rather dropping to the 5th. And this is chord 1. Textbook final cadence at the end of a chorale. And we are in the tonic region. That's that. If you made it this far, well done.